All right, today we're gonna work on a little sequence that's gonna help you get your knees from here down to here, or coming from here to here. So start off by lying down onto your mat with one leg out into a half frog position. And you're gonna start out with your knee in line with your hip. And if this hurts your knee, you can always put a towel underneath. And we're gonna start out by letting the hip open up naturally with a passive stretch. So you can come down onto your forearms or lay your head down onto your arms. But we're gonna breathe here for 10 seconds. So 1, deep inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now we're going to take this a little bit deeper. I want you to press the knee into the ground. And when you press the knee into the ground, you're going to feel your inner thigh start to engage a little bit. And how deeply you want to feel the stretch depends on how deeply you push the knee into the ground. So I recommend starting out with like 50% of your perceived maximum and then slowly take it up from there. But we're going to hold it here once you find a comfortable engagement. We're going to hold it here for 10 seconds. So squeeze, hold, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, you're going to ease up on that. And then you're going to take the same side arm and come for a twist, dropping the shoulder down onto the ground. And you're going to do the same thing, squeezing the knee down into the ground. And you're going to hold it here while you twist for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're going to give that leg a break and we're going to do the other side. So extending the other leg out into a half frog position. You don't have to flip sides. This is just so you can see. All right. Start out with a passive stretch, 10 seconds, just relaxing into the pose, trying to get the pelvis down onto the ground with the leg out. You might feel the leg sliding out to the side a little bit more. That's good. That means your body is starting to relax and your nervous system is starting to relax. So hold it here for 1. Don't forget to breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now we're gonna do that isometric push. So squeezing the knee down into the ground, find like your 50% perceived maximum. If you wanna take it a little bit deeper to get a deeper stretch, then do so. Once you found your range, then we're gonna hold it here for 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, relax that a little bit. Now we're going to come into our twist. So the same side arm is going to thread through, dropping down onto the shoulder. And you might feel a stretch here already. That's fine. If you want to take a little bit further, then find that isometric push, knee into the ground. Once you've found your range, you're going to hold it here for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we're going to come back into the first side and come back into that same half frog position. Knee in line with hip. We're going to work on our internal rotation, try to squeeze the foot up off the ground while the knee pushes down into the ground. Remember, you can put a towel underneath your knee. We're going to hold whatever position in an active way, means no help with the hands, for 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to do an isometric push. You can always do that with your hand. I'm resting my elbow down on my hip and I'm pushing my ankle into my hand. If you can't reach, you can always use a block and push your foot down into the block. We're going to hold it here after you found the squeeze that you want for 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we're gonna flip over to the other side. I'm gonna show some deeper modifications here. So laying down, knee in line with hip, foot in line with knee. We're gonna work on that active internal rotation first, which means not helping it out with your hand or a block or anything. And we're going to lift up and squeeze. Try not to turn your hips to one side. Try to keep the hips nice and level. And we're gonna hold it here for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. From here, using a block or using your hand, we're gonna isometrically push and find your range first, find the amount of push that you want, and we're gonna hold it here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, release. All right, now we're gonna come into a seated posture, and then we're gonna work on our active compass pose. So I'm gonna show the easier variation first. You're gonna come into a seated position. If this is really difficult for you, you can always lean out to the side and even lean back a little bit. This part doesn't really matter with keeping your pelvis straight or your spine perfectly level, all right? Grab your hamstring behind the knee with your hand, and we're gonna take this leg out to the side as much as you can and draw the knee in towards your chest as much as you can. So if you're a little bit more flexible, you're going to push the tricep against your arm and hold this position. I'll show that in the next variation on the next side. All right, from here, it's okay if your hip lifts off the ground. We're going to slowly start to extend the leg as much as we can, as straight as we can for 1, and back down, 2, and back down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to try to do 30 times, but I'm going to take it to 15. We're going to start there, and you can take it to 30 if you want. All right, I think this is 14 and 15. All right, let's do the other side. So like I said, I'm going to show you a harder variation. Start out by grabbing to the outside of the foot, pulling the leg in as much as you can, and then you're going to take the knee as high up into the shoulder as possible. Place a hand down, get nice and long through the spine, and let's take it 15 times. So straighten, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right. Try to do these exercises as much as you can. They're a lot healthier than just doing passive stretches because it incorporates a bit of strength and it limits your range from going too deep into the posture. So I'll see you on the next one.